Slightly different tutorial for you today. I'm here with Foz and we've just ran a fantastic coaching week at the Gloria Golf Resort, and we're here on the range. It's a trackman range, it's got short game areas and putting greens. It really does cater for everything you need when you're practicing. Amazing courses, and we've stayed in the Serenity Hotel. It's been fantastic. But more importantly, we've had a great group of people, and what myself and Foz want to share with you today is something we've been seeing as a pretty common trend throughout the whole group, Foz, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Anybody who's familiar with our trips, or if not, we coach the first day and then we take the guys out on the course. So I see a difference out on the course because obviously it's different to hitting balls on a range and having a lesson and just going away. So on the second morning, I'm taking guys out, and basically, yeah, the big difference we've seen is how the movement is not quite the same as on the range. So we've been working on drills to take that to the course.
Exactly, because that's the benefit. It's the same, we all experience it with our practice. We can get a feel on the range, and then on the golf course, that starts to change. So developing a recognition of the pattern and using external cues, using external influences to help us recognise how our body reacts. And that's what we're going to share with you today, this exercise, because it's something that everybody who walks through the door for the lessons that you'll see in the lesson videos, everyone who comes here, we see it's sequencing, it's time, it's space in their golf swing. They're looking for that lag in the sequence. They're looking for that compression on the golf ball. All these are a function of a good sequence. And so we've got to look at where that sequence starts, and we've got to look at how we recognise that movement form to not only create these forces, but transfer them at the right time. And so this exercise we're going to share with you really helped this group this week. Multiple ways. There's not just one way of doing it. We all have our own way of interpreting in what we sense. So the exercise will help you just start to associate parts of your body in certain space at a certain time. And this is going to really resonate because often we don't afford ourselves an opportunity to explore space. So these exercises are an exploration of that space and a recognition of the movement patterns within that space. And then when you're on the golf course, intuitively, you've got a sense with your practice swing of how you intend to move for the golf shot, connecting the golf shot to the movement. And that all happens not just on the course, on the range. Essentially, we've been talking about this week, it's a combination of both. The environment changes, but the recognition of your movement should remain. No matter where you are, you should be able to recognise your own patterns, and then you're able to adapt them as well with confidence. And that's where you explore it on the course as well, with the challenge of the course. So that's where Foz comes in so well, because that's Foz's domain as a tour player. Not only are these players getting to see a tour player play class golf, but they're also getting Foz's knowledge and experience in helping them transition what we've been doing on the range to the golf course. And then Foz feeds back, and then we can then optimise that even more on the range, so that when they go back out, Foz can then help them to explore further and develop those feelings, not just reinforce them, but develop them.
I use a phrase, and it's a phrase that's out there, is creating time. Well, yeah, I am trying to create time, but we're trying to create it through separation. So there's a difference in creating time by just stopping or waiting. It's the best feeling in the world when you're trying to perform on a course, because if you can actually create time, you're talking milliseconds, but it feels like a full second sometimes, and that's where you can actually experiment and start playing different shots.
I think this is one of the biggest differences between us mere mortals and these tour players, is that they feel like he said he's got a second that we just don't have, and then it's all gone before we even know it. And these guys have got time to recognise the release pattern and adapt and really connect with the shot. So we're going to use a TheraBand, and using a karate chop hold here, that's just to stop it sliding up. Basically, with the arms out straight, imagine you're holding like a medicine ball, and we're just going to use a rocking action. Just let the arms swing from side to side. No real roundedness to the movement, just side to side. Just feeling that momentum from the body. Notice there's a weight transfer. Now, this is where this thing comes in. So, finding yourself a swimming pool noodle, chop about 30 centimetres off, cut it in half, and you've got yourself a half dome. And you've got some feedback from the ground, because this has rebound properties. It's offering us a sense of rebound, a sense of load. So we're going to sense our interaction with the ground, and we're going to place that under the lead foot, all the way through the centre of the foot, through to the heel. So under the toe, through to the heel. And then now what we've got is a swinging action with the arms, and we're going to start to recognise the muscular chain that we're going to stretch. This exercise is going to load us into the floor and load the muscular chain. See what Foz has done here? He's swung the right arm back. He's not pulling the left arm down. What he's done is he's swung his arms from side to side, and then if you just do it again, Foz, swing, go from side to side, and then as you get to the top, continue with your right arm and just let the left arm resist. You'll feel the right arm pulling the left arm back. Don't try and pull the left arm. There's no pulling of the left arm. The right arm just pulls the left, and you'll feel this stretch across the abdomen. It's a contralateral stretch. We're actually activating the muscular chains for the patterns that we're looking for in the golf swing.
It's definitely crossed there, and I feel it. And everybody's different. It always gets my rib cage working really well. It really opens everything up.
Opens it up, and if we go side on, Foz, what it also does is it loads the shoulder complex. If you use the GRF system, if you've watched some of the tutorials, this is the 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. The 1 and 2 up to the top, and the 3, you can see what Foz is doing here. This has continued, the scap's retracting, shoulder girdle here, it's all loaded, it's good, but eccentrically, through lengthening, not through shortening, not through tension. We've got to allow this to travel with a comfortable range, so don't try and force it.
Find your own range.
Exactly, just a comfortable end range. And at the same time, and this is the key, at the same time that this goes up, we're going to drop and compress the foam. Just one more, Foz, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the foam gives a really good feeling of what you want on the ground. We'll go to the ground in a minute, but it's the perfect density to feel in the correct way, again, through separation, rather than just falling or leaning in this way. So
the 2 points of the, if you like, the two ends of the range, you can see here the flexion, how Foz is flexing with his lead side, dropping in, pressing into that foam. You'll feel yourself pressing on the inside of the foam. At the same time, the right arm's going back and hitting end range. You're getting a full body stretch and feeling that impulse there as you do it.
And we discuss it all the time, and again, I see it on the course. The hardest thing, loading's not easy on the course, but when you find the ground and you get the load, once you are in and fully loaded, I can naturally get some vertical, but it almost feels like once you've got it fully loaded, you're just going to pop straight up and almost get you follow through for free, really, is a feeling you get. Yes, we know how to come up, but I've seen this week, clients, they watch our stuff, they come out on the course and they just want to come straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is such a key movement for us.
It is, it really is. When you get into the floor, you're triggering a natural response. You're creating the conditions for that natural reaction, and it's time to go. A lot of people, and we see this, maybe misinterpreting how to load, are trying to force it. They're trying to push the shoulder down, push into the floor. We're never really pushing into the floor. It's a passive loading. We're falling. We're just using our body intelligently. It's intelligent movement. Letting our body fall whilst rotating back creates a shift in the low point. The low point's moving forward, it's moving down. The swing centre is moving down as we're loading into the floor, into the lead side. But we've already created the momentum to do it. And now that natural response can kick in, just like throwing, just like jumping. You think about going up, first place you go is down. But you're not thinking of going down, the body loads naturally and then propels itself. So these are propulsion mechanics that we're using, and people sometimes, like Foz said, try and initiate it too early. Go to the top and then try and push off, or force into the floor and then try and push off. So what this exercise is doing is allowing you to recognise the timing of these patterns, using momentum in a natural, effortless, not effortful way, an intelligent way. So it's not just internally driven, thinking of how you move your hips, how you move your shoulders, push your shoulder down. You're actually thinking, I just want to squash that foam. At no point did Foz talk about technique or particular body patterns, detail. There's no technical side to this application. It's just a case of stretch the band with the right arm at the same time as you fall into the foam. Fall being the operative word, like Foz says, language is important. So when we take the band away, Foz, if you want to just grab the club and show the guys the movement on the foam. You can still keep a cue there, so Foz can demo the movement again.
Yeah, so we're still on the noodle. We'll go to the ground in a minute, but you basically go from band to club, and then we'll go from the noodle
Back
to
to the
floor,
ground, yeah.
to the ball,
Yeah.
which is a natural progression, and again, good habit to get into. So we're working on the right things.
So there's still a reaction, there's still a natural action, and some feedback there, some sensory feedback.
Yes, but there's, so just a couple of, I'm actually there when I did the double. I'm feeling my time into when I want to get to the next stage, which we'll do another time. But you know, it's just feeling how late can I leave it, just messing around with it. There's different things, but you're doing the same separation all the way through, and you're still working all the time. You'll see when we get to the floor. Like to keep moving anyway. We don't want to be too still. Yeah, you're not moving too much once you get to the ball, but you're feeling the ground.
And he's recognising here is exploring. This is what practice is for. Explore, using the exercise. You've got this tactile feedback. You can sense what's going on. When we take that away now, we can appreciate what the ground's offering us now, what it's affording us in terms of our movement capability with the ground.
Again, when we go to the floor, for me, I still like to, obviously it's not, but I like to feel like the noodle's still underneath because you've just left that feeling. So I still almost do a little press in myself.
Yeah.
That can be a forward lean, whatever you want to do. You're trying to find your own way, it's not just one set all. So you're finding your own way. For me, that is, I like a little feeling like that. And then.
So we're going to see when Foz hits some balls in a second, we're going to see how his body prepares for action. There's a constant flow, there's momentum, and he's so attuned to this momentum that he can start to adapt, start to time it, ready to go. And it's just a case of then going through these repetitive motions, and you're just allowing motion to happen. It's not static, it's not fixed, it's not what do I start with, and everything's a little bit jerky, and it's all being consciously triggered, so it's overloading on the brain when you're starting to have to initiate something so conscious.
Yeah, so when all of a sudden you bring the ball in, the mind starts to change when the ball's around. Everybody sees this, so the ball brings a true exam to what we're doing. So for me, I like to hit 3/4 shots with the separation, using the late release, and then I'm getting separation, and I'm getting the club on the ball as I want. So I'm warming up, feel the club on the ball, feel the strike, the toes coming down, and the separation, and that's the shot I'm working on early on for the first few shots. Do a quick practice. Must have been looser than I thought. That was nearly full. I was trying to hit 3/4. It's gone over the back.
Strong fly, ball coming out low, Foz is going up. So he's low. He's so ahead of the action. The club's trailing, because if we want a later release, something's got to have to move earlier, probably faster, and then you're creating this lag through the system, and that's enabling us to get that all-important shaft lean at impact, compressing the ball, getting that ball speed, but on a trajectory that's coming out low on a very strong penetrating fly, but Foz is going up. He's actually using the ground, pushing up, and the club's going down. And the shaft lean and all these features of impact are just dynamic properties, the dynamic features of a release. We're not actually holding this, unless you're trying to play a specific shot, of course. It's just a free-flowing release. It's just the timing of it. And when you sequence effectively, you start to get this really powerful impact. And that's what you see in the videos when you see someone really experience that optimal strike, probably for the first time sometimes with that compression. It's so different. Let's have a go again, Foz. So it's interesting, watch Foz when he starts, there's movement, there's flow. And look, he's just refreshing his feeling.
That was better. That's what I'd call a warm-up shot. And as we've done this week, the first one was nice, but that one's actually better. I look at the divot, it's a much better divot. We've done a lot of work with the clients this week on divot.
You need the inner child when you're practicing, that playful spirit, that playful mindset where you're exploring movement, but there's an understanding that underpins why you're doing it. You come into the range with a purpose, and then allowing yourself just to go with the flow and hit balls like Foz is doing here, not get static and overloading, thinking about the movement. These exercises aren't to try and copy explicitly. They are movement patterns to explore. So when you do make these movements, and if you've watched the tutorials on the 1, 2, 3, 4, like Foz said earlier, this natural reaction. The body's, it's firing, and you're getting movement here without even thinking about it. Just like throwing a ball. You're not having to be consciously involved in the execution of it. That would interfere with it. But it's the movements that preceded it. It's the action for the sequencing that just let you ultimately express yourself without any inhibition, without apprehension. You're not kind of guiding, trying to steer it, trying to control it. You're just letting yourself go. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Foz, thanks a lot, mate. That was awesome. It's been a brilliant week. We had a fantastic group. We saw a lot of improvement, and especially out on the course too, and a lot of personal journeys there. Everyone's got their own personal journey, and it's interesting. We only have small groups on this. It's 6 people, so we have time to spend with each person. Everyone learns differently, so a very personal learning experience, learning the GRF system, but adapting it in their own way for their own needs, and then upskilling themselves with the toolkit to go on now with the mindset to allow them to develop their physical skill set. They've spent this week recognising the physical skill set and how they can even develop that more, but also the mindset to utilise it in the right way. And this exercise here, again, transfers. It's an exercise to develop your movement, your swing, warm up. It transfers.
Just a quick one, guys. We've just had a trip, and the 6 clients are now on the way home. We're doing some work, doing their aftercare, doing some videos, personal stuff. The boss is doing those. We've got a trip coming up on the 21st of April. There's 1 spot left. We'll put the information below in the comments on that. And then we've got some exciting news coming ahead. It'll be announced very soon on all socials. It's going to be a new type of trip. We can't quite say yet, but it'll be very soon, and it's going to be more group-based, bigger groups. Watch this space, basically, but we're very excited to send it out to you soon.
Yep, absolutely. It's a fantastic relationship we've got here with Gloria. It offers everything we need. If you're thinking of a golf trip just for yourself, guys, check it out. We can help you, put you in touch with the right people here. It's just a brilliant venue, and we've really enjoyed it. And of course, you just can't beat the weather. It's been sunny all week, in the shorts. What more can you want? I think it's time for a beer, Foz. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you soon.